This makes me happy today. No
You
anger.
know,
Sorry.
you know why I figured out why I'm reaching for my mouse? Because when you hit the record button, a little icon pops up and I have to click it off. That a recording is in
Okay.
progress. I'm like, I can
Okay.
hear
So there's quirks from either side. I'm loving it.
it. Right.
I'm loving it.
Welcome everybody. Welcome
Well,
to In the Midst of the Shadows.
yes, I am one of the co-hosts of obviously there's one of two of us. So I'm Jason
I am Craig.
and I'm pointing so hopefully when you see this that he is up here, not like I'm saying like Craig is up there, he's right here above me on my
Yes,
screen.
I am no spiritual being by any means.
He's not an apparition. He's real. He's not a figment
Right.
of my imagination. He's really my cousin. He's here.
Right. Right.
So that being said, we're going to talk about something we sort of talked about on one of our old podcasts, but this is like a different spin on kind of the same idea.
Right.
It's the law of assumption.
Yes. And it is fascinating too, because like when you combine this with, excuse me, just ate dinner. When you combine it with a law of attraction, it opens so many doors.
Yeah. So uh, we've talked about this a lot. It goes back to when The Secret became a big movie. Oprah brought it on. They talked about it on there. It was, Bob Proctor was on her show. I think it was Bob Proctor was on her show.
Yeah, he
It doesn't
was.
matter. So everybody contribute or attributed the law of manifesting or the law of uh, um, attraction to Oprah. It's her idea. No, it wasn't her idea. It's been around for a long time.
Centuries.
You are your own universe. But there's a difference between the law of attraction and the law of assumption. And we're going to go through a lot of that today.
Right. So in doing all this, and this works for both of them, in the video I
I
watched,
actually
because
printed out notes, so I'm going to actually wear my glasses on this one.
so
That's what I look like.
yeah, that's what you look like.
I never say
Glasses.
because they're just readers, so I don't ever.
Yeah, so I watched a video, and part of the thing with the law of attraction, law of assumption, the first thing you really need to do is to reprogram your brain.
Mhm.
And you want to program that to a more positive vibration. And there's three words that you can say, and I can't remember the video I got it from. I'd love to give credit to it, but I just can't remember it. I didn't write it down because sometimes I'm an idiot. But those three words you say, when you say them, it's not just listening to the words, it's feeling how it makes you feel.
Mhm.
And those three words are, isn't it wonderful? And you say them at night, like say them as a mantra, like several times before you go to sleep.
Right. No, that's
And
having affirmations like that are really good, and that's a great one. Isn't it wonderful?
yeah,
And so we'll go into the beginning part that I was going to do right here because you sparked something. Um, Having affirmations and thought processes before you go to sleep is very important because both the law of assumption and the law of the law of attraction are both about manifesting your personal desires. And a lot of your personal desires come from your subconscious.
yep,
And you need to get past your conscious mind to get your subconscious mind to believe it's real. Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between I can't do that and I can do that.
right,
It doesn't understand the difference between the two. So by saying affirmations like that, isn't it wonderful? Put yourself in never go to bed angry.
right.
It's like always put yourself in a good sense of mind. And there's another video that I saw, and I can't say who it was about to attribute it, but look up the 17-second rule. Now,
Okay.
the 17-second rule is basically it's just that. what you do is you contemplate and think about something that you desire, but you don't think about it in like okay, I want a skiing vacation in Vail. You don't think about ordering the tickets, getting the lift, all the equipment that you need. You don't talk about, flying there and, booking the hotel. You don't think about that aspect. You think about the actual skiing and how it makes you feel doing it.
Right.
You think about that 17 seconds before you go to bed. Set a timer. And it's a lot harder than it thinks because setting a timer for 17 seconds, and I started doing this, but I actually set it for 19 seconds because usually it takes me 1 second to push the button and another second to get into my thought process. So I usually give myself a couple of seconds to get into that. But it's just like you said, isn't it wonderful? So if you're thinking about isn't it wonderful that I'm going to be doing the skiing vacation in Vail and I'm going to love it, or Aspen or Breckenridge or Mount Hood or wherever you go skiing, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even have to be skiing. It could be whatever you want. Isn't it? You want that new pickup truck. Imagine how that truck is going to make you feel. You want a job. Imagine how that new job is going to feel. It doesn't matter what it is. You just feel how it makes you feel.
Right. Yeah. And like a perfect example, and I think I said this in our old podcast, but like I moved back up here from Muskegon. I was staying at my dad's house and I was miserable, wanted a new place. And every day when I was driving home from work, I imagined I was driving to my apartment instead of to my dad's house. And within 2 weeks, I had that apartment.
See, there you go.
It's just simple things like that. And what I like about the law of assumption is the law of attraction is more about speaking it, doing it. Where assumption's more feeling it.
Yeah, the law of attraction is more. It's positive thoughts bring positive results, and negative thoughts bring negative results. If you think your car is going to break down, eventually your car is going to break down. If you think your car is going to run forever, your car will probably run forever, with some few minor tweaks. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect just because you think it, but if you think bad things are going to happen to you, bad things will happen to you. And we talked about this. I'm going to gloss over a little part. We talked about this in our last podcast because we did all about the law of assumption and manifestation. To briefly summarize, really what we're talking about was when you're in that mindset of positive thoughts bring positive results. It's not like when you think negative thoughts, positive things aren't happening to you. It's just you're not aware of them as well. They're not as impactful as you're like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, I won the lottery, but I got to pay all the taxes. It's that type of thing. Good things are happening to you, but you just can't accept them and realize them in the same time. And I'm not saying just doing this stuff is going to make everybody a multi-billionaire. Chances are it won't, but it can make you feel better in your own life, and it can just make you be a better person because you're thinking better thoughts. That was kind of the Cliff's Notes version, if you remember what Cliff's Notes were.
Yeah.
That was a condensed version of what that whole podcast was. Now, the law of assumption, on the other hand, instead of thinking good things are going to happen to you, you assume they're already happened. Though you assume that you're already going on that vacation. And then you assume that you're already doing it. And the subtle difference between the two is this. Assuming that you do it puts your brain in a set that you're going to subconsciously start taking the steps to make it happen.
Right.
And that's a little different. That's a subtle difference between the two. I mean, you can think of, okay, I want this new job. And okay, now I have to fill out a resume. I have to update my resume. I have to apply for the job. I have to get new clothes for the interview. I have to practice the interview questions. If you're thinking about the law of assumption or the law of attraction, that's kind of what you can do. Like, okay, I'm going to make my resume. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Now, if you get into the mindset of the law of assumption and you assume that you've already got that job, subconsciously, your brain is going to say, yeah, but get that resume done.
Right.
And you're going to be more apt to do it without any barriers involved, without any self-sabotage.
Right.
And I've been for a long time. I'll give you a chance to speak.
So for those of you wondering where the law of assumption came from. It's not as old as the law of attraction. It
Mm-mm.
was created by Goddard,
Goddard.
whatever. And I'm not sure exactly when, because I
I
mean,
don't have the name of it. I don't have the date, but the name of the book was called The Power of Awareness.
right. And I found this website. It's learnmindpower.com, and it's by John Kehoe. And here's a great thing. I read this and I really loved it. This is how do both laws differ? The main difference between the two laws is that the law of attraction states that positive thoughts bring upon positive experience and negative thoughts bring on negative experiences, while the law of assumption states you can manifest whatever you want by feeling and believing that you already have it.
Mm-hmm.
And where it says which law is better, neither. You actually need both working together.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like this, and this is just like, this took me 10 minutes to read, so it's not like a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
the only reason it took me 10 minutes to read is because I have a short attention span. But there is so much more to this than just what we're saying. And we really encourage everybody to go out and look into it. But vision boards are great. If you have problems visualizing things in your head, create a vision board.
Mm-hmm.
Put those things on there. Like, yep, that one's mine. I'm naming that car Red Ryder. Whatever.
And it's really good for your subconscious to actually write these things out. It's easier to put out in the universe if you actually write them down. Now,
Right.
I'm going to equate that with something else that is also not very old. And we did a whole podcast on this as well. And I'm going to draw things from it for this, and that is chaos magic.
Yes.
And basically sigil magic. Now, what chaos magic is you can create a sigil or an emblem or something that a sigil is a sigil. It's a symbol.
Right.
You create a symbol, you charge it, and then you release it into the world of what your desire and what your goal is.
Right.
The law of assumption and the law of attraction working in conjunction actually is kind of like chaos magic in this way. Chaos magic, you actually have to put it on paper first.
Right.
You have to create your sigil, you have to write it out, and you have to charge it. Now, in the law of attraction, I feel that is like the writing out part.
Right.
Positive things is positive results. And if you write out a to-do list, your personal goals, we can go into set goals and all that other stuff later if you want. But if you write all this stuff out, you're more apt to accomplish it. Just think about your grocery list. If you have a grocery list going to the store, you're going to come home. If you follow your list, you're going to come home with all the things that you've needed that you knew you needed before you went to the store.
Right.
You're probably going to come home with stuff. But if you forgot that list on the counter, chances are something is going to be amiss.
Yep. And it's great that you said write it out. And I lost track of what I was going to say. Go ahead with
because writing it out actually, your brain is accepting it because it's visualizing it now. So you can internalize all the stuff you want, but if you're seeing it now, some people learn different than others. Some people learn by reading. Some people learn by doing. This kind of puts both of them together.
Right.
And then the law of assumption part is actually the charging and the releasing of the sigil to the universe, because now your positive results are on paper.
Right.
And then you charge it by thinking that you've already got it, and then when you release it into the universe, that's when you can actually manifest it.
Right. And the big thing, like I think you said this already, but visualizing that you already have it, it's like here are some things that I found. It's like, how do you use the laws of assumption? First thing you want to do is define what you want. Second thing, visualize already having it. I have notes too. The third thing, assume and acknowledge success, which is the most important one. And then the fourth thing is take action that is aligned with your assumption and feels good. Now, if you're writing this stuff down, you're already starting that process. So, and like, I'm sure some of you out there going, well, why should I use the law of assumption? It'll help you gain confidence and a much more positive outlook on life. Even if you don't get billions of dollars, you know, your mindset is already going to be more positive. Things are going to come to you easier. I mean,
Mhm.
I've noticed it in my own life. When I'm more positive, my life is so much better. But when I get sucked into the negative, because work can stress us out, kids can stress us out, wives can stress us out.
Mhm.
But we have, and I just went through this with my sister and my kid today. I'm like, you guys have to find a way to release your stress that's healthy.
Yes,
And doing something like this is going to help release that stress in a healthy way.
absolutely. Now, I look okay. You said that you made a really clear point there that you don't really use them individually. They work in conjunction. And
Right.
this is how I feel personally after, it's like we've done we've been talking about manifesting for years.
Yep.
And we've talked about we've gone through chaos magic and affirmations, and we've done this stuff with our old podcast, and we talk about it like when we're on the phone and stuff too. But one thing that I feel makes this whole process simpler is you start with the law of assumption. You get in the mindset that you already have this. Then you start having the positive thoughts about receiving it, about it being there, about it's a part of your life now. And then you start working towards getting that. And if you're in that mindset that you already have it, if you have that, I'm going to use a self-help financial book called The Millionaire Mindset. I'm
Okay.
just using the phrase. I'm not going to use any of the stuff from the book because I can't remember who wrote it. But having that millionaire mindset will will it bring you millions of dollars? No, probably not. But what it will do is it'll get you in this headspace where every action that you do will bring you closer to that goal. You
Right.
will start thinking about, am I in a dead end job? Am I am I paying am I watching too many, do I have too many streaming services that I don't watch? Do I
Right.
do I really, I'm buying so much produce because I think I'm going to eat it to be healthier, but I'm not. Should I really, you know, think about the other things I'm buying? Am I drinking too much? You start thinking about things in your life that you could possibly change. And you can only do that if you get in a space where you actually are positive and and truthful with yourself. And that's where a lot of this comes from. Am I saying that this is unscientific mumbo jumbo that the universe is going to say, hey, you are going to make $1 billion because you wrote it on a whiteboard in your office or in your bedroom, or it doesn't matter where you write it.
Right.
Is that really going to happen? Chances are, I'm going to be realistic. Chances are no. But will there be could there be a small windfall that
Yeah.
changes your life? That
Yeah.
can happen. That absolutely can happen because you put yourself in a situation, knowingly or unknowingly, that will actually benefit you financially if that was your goal.
Right.
Will you, if you get in that headspace, could you lose 20 pounds quickly so that you can look good before your next class reunion? Absolutely. If you get into that positive headspace and you feel that you're already thinner, then you're going to do the things to make yourself thinner, probably unconsciously. You're going to start
Right.
parking farther away because you're going to tell yourself that you want door dings in your car, but you're really parking out there because it's farther to get into the store. And so you
Right.
make good steps.
I mean, when I go to the store, I always park farther away.
I do too.
It's easier to get out. It's easier to
Mm-hmm.
get in. I don't have to deal with a bunch of cars, and I don't mind walking.
And when I'm at the grocery store, I park far away and I park really close to a cart corral
Right.
because I don't believe in leaving my cart on the
Right.
side.
I don't either. Oh, um, kind of vindication for what you said. Okay, here's an example. I'm sure a lot of you have probably already heard this, but when Jim Carrey was young, he wrote himself a check for $10 million. That he didn't have the money then, but he's like, in 10 years, I'm going to make this acting. And then 10 years went by, the check's getting all folded up and wrinkly and tattered and stuff like that. He keeps it in his wallet. Well, then when almost the 10-year mark hits, he lands a role in Dumb and Dumber and gets paid $10 million.
There you go.
Yep. And he uses the law of attraction for stuff like that too. I mean, there's a lot of people think he's crazy. I think he's fucking brilliant, but that's just me.
A lot of the crazy ones are the brilliant ones.
Yep.
You know,
fine line between insanity and genius.
And most people don't understand that there's a separation.
Yep. So the one thing I couldn't find, and I'm wondering if you can help me with this, because how I do my research anymore is I write down questions and I just start Googling them. I could not find an answer to this one. Are there bad results to the law of assumption?
There can be. Okay. There was a video that I was watching, and it was it was a young lady that was talking. There's, of course, half of the videos on the law of assumption are young women talking about this, but one of it was she was talking about the not really believing it. But there was what she was saying was, yes, you can manifest bad things through the law of assumption, assuming that, because if you don't have your whole assumption correct. Now, when I say bad things that you don't really believe, it doesn't mean that you don't really believe that you're going to make $10 million in 10 years if you write yourself a check. Okay? Right. That doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen to you. But it was I'm trying to remember what her specific thing. It doesn't matter. It was kind of like how I said before, that your subconscious doesn't know the difference between I can and I can't.
Right.
It just hears can. So
right.
If I want my relationship to not be bad or something like that, you can manifest a bad relationship out of that because you weren't specific enough.
Right.
And it's the same with the law of attraction too. If you're not specific enough, you can say, hey, I want $1 million. Then, you get hit by a car and you get an insurance check from the person who hit you for $1 million.
Right.
Now you're in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. So you want to be specific in that aspect. And it's the same with the law of assumption, that if you assume that you're going to be a millionaire, you kind of want to have the feeling of how you got it.
Right. And I mean, these are all important things. I mean, it's what it comes down to is mindset. And we talked before, when you're a kid, your brain is programmed by your parents, your teachers, and your friends, and the people that in your school. And then as you become adult, that programming doesn't change unless you change it.
Exactly.
I was very negative when I was young. I had a rough childhood. I got through it and made me a better person. I'm not suggesting everybody should have a rough childhood because it's not fun. But for me, in the heat of it, while I was in the midst of that rough childhood, I looked at these people and said, that's not who I'm going to be when I grow up. And that's the lesson I learned from it. I could have gone the victim route and said, oh, I had a rough childhood, that's why I did this. Oh, I had a rough childhood.
Right.
No, I took it and I'm like, this is giving me strength. This is giving me self-confidence. This is giving me everything I need in life to succeed. And to me, success isn't necessarily money. Success is having a happy family, having love of my children, my spouse, my family. To me, that's richer than money.
So along those lines, about the negative thing and taking a bad situation and making it better, I want you to quickly summarize one of the most. You have the Dungeons and Dragons. Is that the basic box cover?
Yep.
You have that on your wall, and I have a genie back here. Tell me what can happen when you make a wish in D&D and you're not specific.
Oh, you get fucked.
Exactly.
Like if it was my brother or your brother being the DM, if we didn't word it perfectly, we were going to have the worst possible result happen to us. Say, hey, I want that thing to die. Oh, we died instead.
Yeah,
I wish
because
that thing was dead.
that thing could have been the caster.
Yeah. Well, chances are, like, knowing how they worked, it was a dragon. We wished for it to be dead. It ate us all and died from indigestion.
Or now it's a zombie dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's still there. We still have to fight it, but it's now
Right.
technically dead.
Right.
So how do you combat that? How do you combat the I have 5 questions that you should ask yourself when you're coming up with a game plan for manifestation.
Okay. I want to hear this.
Okay. The first is, why do I want it? That should be clear. Why do I want this thing? The next one is, how will it change my life? So let's say the first one was like, nah, what do I want? I want $1 million. How will it change my life? Well, I'm going to have a lot of money, but more money, more problems.
Right.
You have to think about that. It's like, what do I want from this goal? Okay. Why do I want $1 million? I want to be financially free.
Right.
Okay. That's what most people would say. I want to buy a new house. I want to pay off all my bills. And I want a little bit to have it as a nest egg while I finish off my career as a machinist.
Right.
It's legitimate. So how does this serve me? What would the money do for me if I did this?
Right.
How will it impact me if I'm going to pay off my house, my car, all my debts? How will it serve me? That's probably what it'd be. It's going to pay off all my debts. And then at the last one is, how will it make me feel? Well, stress-free.
Right.
A lot of people to have all their debts paid off.
Right.
Own their car outright. So once again, I'll run through those real quick because I kind of like.
Actually, let's do this. You ask them to me as if I'm the one doing it.
Okay. Okay. What do you want? Or why do I want it?
Why do I want it? So let's say it's money. Okay.
We'll say, what do you want?
Right. So
then why do you want it?
I would like to be free of debt because then it would ease some stress off my life, and I would have more resources available to help other people in need, and to achieve my dreams of just living free and going to do like kayaking or hiking or whatever my wife and I want to do for the day, or to do nothing if we don't want to. Just have that freedom to not have to worry about anything.
Love it. Okay. So how will it change how will it change your life?
Well, it changed my life because stress reduced and more positive energy will make my health better. Independence, freedom, health. I mean, those are all wins.
I think you kind of answered the third question is, what do I want from this goal?
Yeah. A better life.
Better health, better life.
Love my life right now, but it can always get better.
How does it serve me?
How does it serve me? It serves me by achieving this goal, serves me in the fact that I can, like you said, pay off everything, help my kids out when they're in binds, help them maybe build put money away for them so they have a nest egg. So when they get older, they can, granted they're all adults, but still when they get a little bit older, and start having kids, then, give them that so they can live a little bit freer with less stress.
And how will that make you feel?
That'll make me feel incredible. I'll be happy all the time.
See, there you go. So we'll have those in the comments below for you. And I got them from that Learn Mind Power's Law of Assumption for the John Kehoe Mind Power.
Okay. Yeah, basically the same website I went to.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you put the link to that website in there.
I will. That's why I wanted to throw that out there because you'd mentioned before, and it's in step 2. Visualize yourself already having it.
Yep. So yeah, we went to the same website so, so let me ask you this. If you were to use the law of assumption today
Mm-hmm.
for something that you wanted, what would it be?
I have this desire to travel the country in an RV style vehicle and just visit Americana. I want to visit small towns. I want to eat at small diners. I want to see the largest spatula in the world. I want to see the biggest ball of twine. I want to see all of that stuff because that stuff has always fascinated me since I was a little kid, because I used to sit there for hours reading the Guinness Book of World Records, and there was just stupid shit in there like the biggest ball of twine, or I got to show you the oh no, we didn't make it to Long Beach, did we?
No.
No, because I should have taken you there, because then you would have seen the world's largest frying pan.
Okay.
So it's stuff like that. I just want to travel, even if it's for a year, maybe two. I want to travel and just visit that type of stuff, get to know people around the country, and get a real pulse of America has nothing to do with political polls or people's wild assumptions on who thinks what where.
Right.
I'd like to learn this stuff for myself.
Right. That's good. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome.
And maybe catch a Super Bowl, maybe catch an NBA Finals game, maybe see some of the. I'm a sports fan, so I'd like to see some of these stadiums I've never got to see.
Right.
That type of stuff is along the way, but still.
Right. Yeah. See,
What about you?
for me, I would like. I mean, as an artist, I don't ever see myself ever not working because
Mm-hmm.
that's what my art is to me. It's work, but it's work I enjoy, so it's not really work. But I would like to be able to, you know, wipe out all of our student debts, everything, wipe out all of our bills, hire somebody to come in and fix up our house because I'm tired of doing it. Then maybe put that on the market, or if I have the money, just basically sell it to my kid, and just move on and just like you said, travel. I want to travel. I would like to kayak almost every lake I can come to. I'm going to avoid the ones with alligators. So it's going to be in the northern part of the states.
Well, you could come out to the Pacific Northwest and kayak with orcas.
Yeah, that'd probably scare the shit out of me, but yeah, I would have fun doing it.
There's one place that has glass bottom kayaks, so you can see them swim below you.
Oh, nice. That would be awesome.
That'd be
scary.
But
that's the stuff that I would love. I mean, I've been watching videos of this couple in Canada who go out every summer and even in the winter. And they obviously can't kayak in the winter, but they'll just camp out in the wilderness in the winter. But like this guy kayaks or canoes, sorry, he has a canoe. Just canoes, portages from one lake to another, and then just sets up camp. He's got this hammock that he has a air mattress in, and tarp over top of him, and he'll use a tent once in a while. But I watched that, I'm like, I would love that so much because it'd be so peaceful. And I'd just bring like pencils and paper for stuff to do, while you're resting when you got your camp all set up, and probably draw the scenery around me and just get back in with nature because that's what makes me feel alive.
Yeah.
But I take care of all my kids, make sure they're all taken care of, make sure that they're not wanting for anything, but I probably wouldn't give enough so they could quit working because I don't want them to get lazy. I would make sure if they're in a bind, I'd help them out, stuff like that. Because I don't want them to just, oh, well, dad gave me a bunch of money, so I can just quit my job and not do anything.
Right.
Because that's not teaching them anything.
Or buy a new truck and call it good. Right. Oh, well, I burned through that money.
Right.
So, but I would, in my trip, and I'm sure you would do the same thing, blog and podcast the hell out of that shit.
Yep. Keep a journal. I keep trying to. I suck at it. Like see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Like I started journaling again like a couple weeks ago, then of course dropped off again. Yeah, the last time I did it was October 24th. But I did a good couple days, or I did 2 good days, but before that was September of 2021. Yeah, I started this in June of 2021. But I want to journal my adventures.
Mm.
I think that would be awesome. Like,
Yeah.
hit some white water today while rafting, almost dumped it and but got through it.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. Basically be like, Ernest Hemingway or, Thoreau or whatever, that type of stuff.
There you go.
Like my wife had an idea the other day of, well, it was yesterday because I showed her the TikTok my son sent me about the nursery rhyme. She's like, I could write a book about the origins of nursery rhymes. I said to them, why don't you?
Yeah.
Do it.
That would be a really cool book.
It would.
You know who would be really interested in a book like that? Primary teachers.
Yeah.
Because if they're stuck reading, preschool and primary teachers where they have to read some of this stuff. And it's like, what's the one thing that they like to do? Because I'm dating a primary teacher, and one thing that it's like, if she had the idea to, like, when if she's forced to read a book to somebody, is there something that's going to keep her mind sane from having to read this day after day after day? If it's if she could learn the knowledge that in Jack and Jill, in Jack and Jill, the lumberjack actually kills, or not Jack and Jill, I'm sorry, the Little Red Riding Hood, the lumberjack actually kills the wolf.
Right.
It's like, maybe, or Hansel and Gretel was really, really dark.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into all that because we will probably do a podcast on it, and then we'll talk about her book.
Yeah, and like you said, you're dating a primary teacher. I'm married to one.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many, with the right mindset, more opportunities come to you.
And part of that, I want to jump in real quick. And part of the opportunities when you say that they come to you, it's not that they're not coming to you now. You have better recognition and you're better prepared to see a deal. How many times in anybody's life that's out there listening, can you say in your life that says, man, I shoulda, man, if I could go back? And being in the right mind makes you take that risk, that moment, understanding that something cool can come from this,
right?
Or not taking that risk, win or lose. It's a win or lose. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You still took the risk. There's people that always, you would say, it's like, man, I should have opened up that business a long time ago. Well, you still can do it now, even though the market for oh fuck, I lost the product I was going to talk about. But anyway, it's like, the little Thai bears, whatever the hell those are called, Beanie Babies. The market for Beanie Babies are out, but if you open that store now, you can bring them back. Maybe you make them a comeback, and then you become a niche store that people will come flocking in, and you can sell for 50 times what they're supposed to be worth.
Right.
But it's like, I hear this a lot from people, especially, as I'm creeping onto the fifth decade of my life. I hear a lot of people my age talking about, if I could go back. I don't know if it's a midlife crisis thing or what, or if it's just a realization that, this isn't the life I expected for myself. At my age, it's not too late to change.
Right.
And B, if you're in the right mindset, cool shit can still happen to you when you get in your decade. Look at Ray Kroc from McDonald's.
Yeah.
He sat down at a lunch break at a fast food place or a burger joint, and he wasn't fascinated by the food. He was fascinated by how they made it.
Yep.
And he bought McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers and turned it into what we see today.
Right.
He was 56 years old when he did that. Watch the movie The Founder. It's all about that. I never watched the movie, but I'm pretty sure they talk about it somewhere in the movie.
See, here's a good example for you, because I really don't. I have always had this, and it's really weird because my wife and I are both like this. But like, so if I'm driving and I miss an exit or I miss a turn and have to reroute, I don't get upset about it. I'm like, huh, universe probably had me just avoid an accident.
True.
And that's my mindset. It's I if I look back, there's nothing in my past I want to change because it made me the person I am today. So I have no desire to go back and change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, and that's part of that positive mindset is, you accept your life for how it was and how it is, and then you move forward with it and reap the results of your positive mindset.
I I want to jump on your point right there about the universe had a reason for it. I was driving home today from breakfast and I got into this lane. I moved from the one lane over to this lane, and all of a sudden just the car started backing up, but this other lane was about to go. My first instinct was like, get back in that other lane. And then my brain went, where do you really have to be?
Right.
And when I did that, I glanced over and there was a Tesla in my blind spot. So had I would have jerked over like I normally would have, or I would have in the past, but not today, something told me in my head, it's like, you're not really in a hurry. And I just glanced over, I would have sideswiped this Tesla.
Right.
Because, years ago I would have been that way. But I'm glad I wasn't today.
Me too. Because that
Because I
would
probably
suck.
wouldn't have made this podcast.
Right. Right. Oh, so is there any more you want to touch on with this?
um, so really, I think you summarized it really well, that it's most of it is about mindset. And you can go on and you can watch all these videos, but don't get too sucked into the whole the mystical aspect of it, that they want to try to throw into there. Like, I know I brought up chaos magic, and I was kind of using a correlation between the two different things, but really what it's all about, what all of this is about, is just work on yourself.
Yep.
And understand and thank the universe every time something good happens. Now, when we've talked about this before, when we say universe, enter anything that you want in there. Enter,
For
whatever religion,
deity.
whatever beliefs you have. Me personally, I use the universe as that all-encompassing. You can enter any deity, you can enter any belief that systems you want there. But when I say the universe, it's like whatever grants you your stuff in your life, because there's tons of religions and they all believe in different things. So we use that. But what it boils down to is just don't be a dick.
Right. Be a good person, good things will happen. I use the universe as well because organized religion is just too corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Always has been. I want no part of it.
Okay. I went and saw a punk band, a punk music band, just the other night. I saw the band, huge in the 80s, Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, love those guys.
And Mike Muir, the lead singer, came out and he said something he was kind of talking about politics, but he was also trying to wrap up other things in people's lives. He said this: if you need somebody else in your life to tell you how to feel, how to think, and how to be, you need to look at your own life first.
Yep.
Because you are in control of you, and you should be responsible for your own thoughts, your own actions, and that's what the law of attraction is for. That's what the law of assumption. That is what manifesting is. That's what chaos magic is. It's all about you.
Yep.
Now, I could throw a religion out there that is all about you, but that's another time, another podcast, because it may make somebody's mad if I was to say that. But there are four. I want to leave you with four things that you should say every day, along with your affirmation is, isn't it wonderful? At some point in time during the day, you should say these four things. Okay. I'm sorry. Because you've done you probably did something.
Right.
Forgive me.
Okay.
thank you, and I love you.
There you go.
Say those 4 things every single day.
Put those down below.
They will be.
Okay. Well, those 5 things every day.
What's yours? Yes. But yours is right before bed, and the other ones are
yep.
4 things.
Finish your day with mine. Start your day and go through your day with Jason's.
Just wake up and say, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Because you probably had a bad thought when you woke up. When you heard that alarm, you probably had a bad thought. Say sorry about the bad thought.
I say sorry all the time. It drives my wife nuts.
I say it a lot. Whether I was going to say whether I mean it or not. It's like, that's not really what I meant, but it came out, so I guess I'll own it.
I say thank you a lot. I don't say forgive me. And what was the 4th one?
I love you.
I love you. I say that all the time.
There you go.
I mean, love makes the world go round. It's not money. It's not power. It's love.
Not Coca-Cola.
Oh, cocaine maybe. Just kidding. Only did it once, and it was in a joint, and I didn't know it was there. Bad trip. Bad trip.
Fair enough.
That's when I was young. But yeah, I mean, so the moral of today's story, boys and girls, and whatever you want to identify as, because it doesn't matter to me. You be you. Is, man, just change your mindset. Just be more positive, and the world will reflect that. The world is run off vibrations, and part of the law of attractions is to raise your vibrations, and the world will raise its to meet yours. So for all positive, all this shit goes away.
We could go. We could. This could go on for another hour. That you brought up vibrations, because there's actual physical, scientific, proven theories about positive thoughts. A positive person vibrates at this frequency, a negative person vibrates at this frequency, and things are attracted to those. There's legitimate scientific research on this stuff. Just go look it up. We don't have time for it today.
And then it would spin me into the Rothschild, change the vibrational frequency of music to make it so you weren't happy when you listened to it back in the late 1800s. But yeah, another day.
Right. There's a lot of stuff. So
to sum up today, we talked about the law of assumption. We compared it with the law of attraction. But most importantly, we talked about how to get a more positive mindset, because that's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
So with that being said, I will bid you adieu. Peace out. Love you.
And I'm going to say, stay positive, motherfuckers, or we'll find you and we'll make you happy.
Yep. We'll force you to listen to our podcast.
Right.
Nonstop. Well, just the positive ones.
Yeah.
But with that being said, bye.